On this first day, I do not pretend to answer that question on behalf of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, but we do extend our hand of partnership to you and want to make clear that we extend and intend to try to find common ground whenever and wherever possible on behalf of the American people. Not as Democrats, not as Republicans, not as independents, but as Americans. But I also want to make clear that we will never compromise our principles. House Democrats will always put American values over autocracy, benevolence over bigotry, the Constitution over the cult, democracy over demagogues, economic opportunity over extremism, freedom over fascism, governing over gaslighting, hopefulness over hatred, inclusion over isolation, justice over judicial overreach, knowledge over kangaroo courts, liberty over limitation, maturity over Mar-a-Lago, normalcy over negativity, opportunity over obstruction, people over politics, quality of life issues over QAnon, reason over racism, substance over slander, triumph over tyranny, understanding over ugliness, voting rights over voter suppression, working families over the well-connected, xenial over xenophobia, yes we can over you can't do it, and zealous representation over zero-sum confrontation. We will always do the right thing by the American people. So let us not grow weary of doing good, for the American people will reap the benefit of the harvest.
He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.
Welcome to Heat Death of the Universe podcast, always on the lookout for new fun ways to hashtag resist. Head over now to Move On, Act Blue, Daily Co's Resistance Pod, Save the Pussy Hat Vendor.jizz. Donate now to Save the Republic. It is 10:49 a.m. Saturday morning, Korea Standard Time, February 15th, year of our Lord and the Snake, 2025. Currently, you are listening to the previously digitally encoded vocalizations of me, Joshua Name Change. And from our Imperial Core of America's Dream Factory, Hollyweird, California, Tim DeGrasse Hi Son. Buckner.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. You know, it's a playoff of Neil deGrasse Tyson. I thought it was pretty good, and I thought it was shocking that no one had made that joke before.
Did you Google it? Like
yeah, I like to.
What was the
Teen Laquifa? Teen Laquifa. That one always stands out. You did say from the Imperial Core, but because it is California, it's, you know, La La Land, Hollyweird, if you will. It is the Inquirial Core. I will have to correct you on that one.
My mistake.
And I am always excited to be back on the only podcast that asks, what if instead of Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, it was Fast and the Furious Smokio Diffs, and it was about smoking different? Huh? What about that? That'd be better, right? It'd be a better show. You
it's
smoke
a punch
regular.
up for sure.
Anyways, I'm doing bad, actually. Not terrible, but had a rough 4-day weekend starter. I got 4 days off in a row. I was off work yesterday. I'm off today. And then obviously the weekend, that's just normal. Nobody cares about that, right? You have the weekend off. Pff, good for you, son.
Weekend different.
My weekend is different. But what happened yesterday was I took the day off, extra special, to go to this special beer event thing. It was pretty neat. There's like it's called the Phantasm Cup. People don't care about this stuff, but I do. It's like really nerdy. It's about this like beer additive stuff that they make in New Zealand. They make it in the same region where they grow like Sauvignon Blanc grapes. So it's like it's connected to wine, and they talk about the terroir and the connections. Phantasm itself is actually like wine grape skins that they like turn into a powder or different like additives to put into things. It doesn't have to just be beer. They put it in different stuff and like gives the flavors that you get from like Sauvignon Blanc grapes, whatever, right? I went to that. I had a good time. It was very funny because like it's kind of a competition for like brewers to like try to win. And literally I was like one of two people there that was just like a fan and not like a professional beer brewer from a brewery trying to win something. So that was very fun.
A groupie, if you will.
Yeah, basically. And then on my way home, I got into an accident. I got into a car accident.
Shit.
Because it was raining. And it was like not the worst, but it fucked up my radiator to where it was leaking. And I didn't realize until like I'd gotten almost all the way home, and then it started heating up a little bit because I guess it leaked enough. So this morning, I spent the whole morning replacing my radiator. So that was, you know, fun. My hand is just all greasy and cut up from dealing with that.
It's true, folks. True listeners.
Yeah, but everything seems to be fine now. So yeah, just a good way to spend your Valentine's Day is replacing the radiator. But luckily, I had already gotten my wife like a dumb little gift. But like, you know, oh, here, you know, I love you, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, now I'm going to work on the car all day. And then everything's fine now. And then I've got another beer event tomorrow. That's why I took a long weekend, because there was like 2 big beer event things to do for the week. So I'll take a long weekend. I'll get to enjoy and have fun doing all this. And then now, in the middle of it, got in a car accident, changed the radiator, replaced the radiator. Luckily, the insurance is like, fuck it, we got you handled, dog. You're like, you're good. And then my wife was just like, you know, the car, this and that. So she just like bought a new car off of Carvana this afternoon. She's just like, you know, just check it out. I'm just gonna get this. We've been talking about it, you know, like, we should, and like saving money and just being ready for like, well, when this car goes out, we'll just buy another car, or we'll just do it. If we end up in a spot where we just have a ton of extra money and we're just like, fuck it, let's just do it. Like, we'll just do it. And like, kind of everything just came to a head, and I was like, fuck it, just do it, just buy it. So getting a new car delivered on Monday from Carvana, which I've heard nightmares about Carvana, but also like, this is pretty simple situation, so it's like, fuck it, they're just gonna drop it off on Monday, you know.
I've only heard about that service from you on this very self-same podcast.
Yeah.
You I believe there was something to do with an ad with Kristen Bell and
that sounds right. Yeah, and her dumbass husband
whose names escape me.
Dak Shepard.
Me right now.
Dak Suckard. Yeah.
Well, hell of a Valentine's weekend, I'll say.
It's also my wife's birthday.
It sounds like it could have gone like in several directions of different kinds of bad that it didn't go in, at least.
Yeah.
It kind of seems sort of in the past already.
Sure. I don't know about you, but I know
good.
me. It's like really hard for me not to like beat myself up about making any kind of mistake ever. I'm like a hardcore perfectionist. I can't so making any kind of mistake just really fucks me up. So I really had to be like, you gotta let it go. Shit happens. Don't fucking think about every well, if I had done this, if I had done that, if I had done this, you know what I mean? Just like let it go. Just let it go. I've been doing pretty good at just being like, just let it go, But it is tough for me because every now and then I get that snap of lightning in my head and I go, if I had done this, wouldn't have happened. It's too late. It's too late. Thinking about it doesn't matter. It's too late. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah, it's just one of those compulsive thinking things that you just have to purely just shove aside. There's no thinking around it.
And it's cool. My life is pretty solid, so it's like, fuck it, man. Like, there's times in my life where something like this would have fucked me up. You know what I mean? I'd just be like absolutely fucking ruined. But we, instead of any issue, we just bought a new car. And we don't even really need it. But we're just like, fuck it, just buy a car.
Well, speaking of other...
Speaking of Tokyo drifting, right?
I was gonna say other people that have their heads screwed on right and a sane, balanced view of the world and their exit and understand your own eccentricities and mental illnesses. Yay, not okay. Yay. We got to talk about.
Oh yes.
For a moment, we'll call this the Amuse bouche of today's episode. We got some real sleazy celebrity gossip type shit up top here. So shockingly, Kanye West has apparently had another sort of episode or whatever. Whenever the people bring it up like this, it's like, isn't he just continually in an episode for the last 5 years or something? Right. I mean, that's the way I see it.
That's just who he is.
Attention to anything else, but I think that's
it's not
all
an episode. That's
there.
Just who he is.
Is there any? Was it like a week ago he was just chilling, normal style? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, in this latest tear, I guess part of it was him just typing all caps things like "I'm a Nazi," "Hitler's awesome" or whatever, and then or typing, tweeting. He typed and tweeted, folks. He did both. He did both crimes. And then apparently he just posted a bunch of porn and said he's giving in to his porn addiction, at least his self-diagnosed, maybe, whatever. But somebody who I realize now I don't have any clue this is. I was going to say they're a blue check as if that means anything. It doesn't mean shit.
Right.
I mean, it means even less than it once did. Joey Italiano stereotype. Joey Manorino. Joey Manorino US.
Joey Manorino.
Is he a politician? He's got a big American flag behind him. Who the fuck is this guy? Now I want to know, kind of.
He's got that little thing too. He's got a blue check, but he's also got one of those other little things, another little signifier.
Yeah, what is that?
Could mean something, because sometimes they put something next to the blue check now to be it's not bullshit. This is not bullshit, guys. I know. We know. We ruined the blue check. Sorry. We all understand the blue check is fucking pointless. It sucks. So we've decided to, instead of just, making the blue check mean something, we'll put another little thing next to it that means something else. Road to the election. That's what that means. Your opinion matters. What the fuck is it? It's linked to what is this? A website? It's just for because you can do that. You can be like a partner business. So this is just a business that partners with Twitter that then puts his, you know what I mean? The company that he works for.
Okay, this guy looks like Luigi. He's got a Luigi Mangione as a fucking insufferable conservative, non-hero cool guy version of Luigi Mangione. Joey Manorino. Right. Freedom advocate, saving Western civilization. Oh, okay, I know this guy's game. And the fact that his banner pick or whatever you call that on Twitter is him with Trump, then him with Vivek, and then him with Rudy Giuliani. He's really proud of that.
He also posted a bouquet of Trump head flowers today, just an hour ago as we record.
I just saw that. I was like, I'm glad we clicked on this guy's shit.
It's also funny because he says, the only flowers I'm giving today, which implies that he will not be losing his virginity today. He is keeping that until he finds the right woman, everyone.
Yeah, it's this slightly terrifying picture of about 25 disembodied Donald Trump smiling heads on a bouquet of flowers. Well, anyway,
which is kind of gay, if you ask me, right? Am I wrong that that's kind of gay to be like make Trump's head into flowers like roses? I mean, I think you're implying something.
It's at least
kind of sus about Trump.
He's like, yo, girl, yeah. My little Trump head's gonna run a train on your ass.
No. Well, so it just feels like you're saying that Trump is like a delicate flower, like he's a little rose. Like I don't know about Trump. I thought Trump was tough.
I was thinking dirtier, I guess.
Sure. I mean, you want to get dirty, then we start talking about rosebudding, and it's like you're implying that Trump's face is coming out of prolapsed anuses. So then we can really get nasty. Usually, Trump's face is usually going into prolapsed anuses, folks. He likes to go down on them and eat them. He likes to do analingus on prolapsed anuses. That's one of his kinks. He did that in Russia.
Wikipedia. Look it up.
It was in the Panama Papers. It was in
the Panama Papers.
Yeah, the Panama Papers. They had Trump likes to eat prolapsed anus. That was part of it.
Trump keeps fucking prolapsed asshole fleshlights in a fucking safe in the Bahamas.
Yep.
In the Caribbean.
Everyone knows that.
A tax haven for prolapsed anuses that he flies down to eat.
To eat and...
Man, we are gross. But Joey Manarino says, Kanye West might be the first person I will ever support being banned from X. Say it ain't so, free speech warrior. Not because I don't believe in free speech.
Nope.
Well,
don't get that part confused.
But because he's posting literal porn on the timeline. I'm having dinner in a sushi restaurant. Why does he have to say... I mean, I guess he thinks it gives more authenticity or something. I don't know.
And also not figurative porn. It's literal. Folks, this is literal porn, guys. It's not figurative. Oh, shit, really? Damn, literal porn? I mean, fuck, man. I don't know. Did everyone forget that, like, even before Elon Musk, like, brought free speech back to the internet, like, on X, that they've always been posting porn on there? Like, that's not...
Yeah, Twitter's sort of infamous for being, like, the place that doesn't scrub any of the porn shit.
Yeah, get over your fucking self.
Yeah. I think he's actually just doing a dumb guy with some money, like a little bit of money at least, kind of dumb guy flex. Like, sushi means fancy. I'm at a sushi restaurant. I'm having dinner in a sushi restaurant and opened my X while my friend was ordering, and the waitress just saw a woman sucking a BBC. The British Broadcasting Channel? Is it channel? Yes. Right on my phone.
Billionaire Boys Club? What? My word.
Not okay, yay.
Not okay, yay.
And that's the tweet.
Fuck this guy. He actually, based on this tweet, I'm going to say that he sounds like he's Joey Manarino, if you know what I'm saying, because he's a girl. He's afraid of free speech, and he's fucking scared that the server at the sushi restaurant, I mean, it's a sushi restaurant, so let me guess, I'm just going to take a wild guess that this server at the sushi restaurant has probably seen a lot worse things than a woman just sucking on a BBC. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, those people are sick.
Talking about
They're
hentai?
Disgusting. Talking about tentacle porn. I'm talking about probably a Fujoshi style server. But also, this goes back to something, I tweeted something like this, or I posted something like this before, where I was like, America is so fucking cucked that we can't even have our own, like, blonde bombshells, like the Barbie girl. That whole thing, like, that's supposed to be the America thing, is like Margot Robbie. She's fucking Australian. Like, we can't even, and like, America is fucking it up so much now that, like, our white nationalists are fucking black guys. Like, I mean, we can't even, we're so fucking cucked that like Kanye West is the biggest he's the biggest celebrity fucking Nazi in all of America. And it's because, again, Americans are so goddamn cuck. Like, Sam Hyde is probably number 2, and most people don't even know who the fuck that is.
I was gonna say that's a big drop from Kanye to Sam Hyde.
Right.
I
Not when it comes to how racist they are, though. They're like probably neck and neck when it comes to being racist.
Do you think Sam Hyde's unironically more racist than like a Richard Spencer? I think he's even more well known than Sam Hyde.
Yeah, but Richard Spencer feels like he's honestly just like trying to like he's fucking racist for clout.
He had a moment too. Like I think he's basically like people like us remember him, but like anyone coming to the scene later than that, probably he's not. I think I heard some update about what the fuck he was doing, and it was incredibly lame. And I think he's almost given up the Nazi grift or something.
Right.
He's probably just gonna have like an MSNBC show in like a week.
He's just like he's a race realist. You know what I mean? He wouldn't even call himself a Nazi or, you know what I mean? And like fucking Kanye is just like, I'm a Nazi. I don't fucking like.
Yeah, Kanye. I mean,
we need to be nicer to Hitler.
Literally the sentence. Yeah. I am a Nazi. All caps.
Yeah. Fucking at this point, yes. Richard Spencer, again, like I said, he's like more akin to like refer to himself as a race realist at this point, as opposed to Kanye, who just goes, "I'm a fucking Nazi, man." He's
probably pissed after Elon did the salute, because he was like the most famous saluter until then, and not very famous. Like that was like some like Marriott hotel conference room they rented out. He's like right after Trump won, right? Like him and a bunch of the chuds just Zeke heiling at each other very lamely. Not in a cool way, like cool guy.
Not like when I do
it.
it.
Musk did.
But and also like the other side of it too, when it comes to like fame, because I know you question that a little bit. Like, is Sam Hyde more famous than Richard Spencer? And like you said, like, do people even remember? You also have to keep in mind that whilst you and I, and even I, only slightly know about this, but like I know that there's a ton of people who are really into like the fish tank stuff. So Sam Hyde is like actually kind of pretty well known on the internet now because of Fish Tank. So
you got to explain what this is to me. I can't
Fish Tank
remember.
is like Sam Hyde made his own like Big Brother reality show that's just like absolutely fucked up with like really like insane fucking like fringe online celebrities will show up to like fuck with the people in the house. And and he's like the main host of it as well. He uses a pseudonym on it, but like people know that it's him and stuff. He's like Richard Goldfarber or some dumb shit like that. But yeah, like that is honestly like really popular outside of like circles of people who even know who Sam Hyde is. So there'll be like we gotta talk about this because Richard Goldfarber is actually racist. He's actually this racist man, Sam Hyde, and y'all just be enjoying, but we gotta talk. You think you can just watch Fish Tank and it's okay, but really you're supporting this Nazi guy, and people are just like, shut the fuck up. It's reality TV. We don't care. We know it's bad. We know it's run by evil people. We don't care that like this reality show is being run by even worse Nazis than the other ones. Like, who fucking cares? So yeah, that's like, it's like pretty fucking popular.
Yeah, it's like I'm thinking about reality, like who's behind like all of the probably the bigger reality shows, and I'm gonna take a wild guess.
Yeah,
say there's at least one horrifying Zionist behind one of those shows.
Right. It's just like, it's like Sam Hyde is not the worst person to be running a reality show, unfortunately.
Well, continuing with fucking pathetic sort of famous people. I mean, I guess Kid Rock is actually legitimately famous, as much as it pains me to say it.
Yeah.
It also sort of pains me to even bring up this story, but I put it here and we're going to say the headline and see what happens. Mm-hmm. Lauren Boebert, the diarrhea queen of Colorado or wherever the fuck she's from, and Kid Rock spotted canoodling in a taxi cab at 2:30 a.m. And apparently some video of them dancing together has gone viral, and who gives a shit? Why did I bring this up?
I mean, Yeah, I guess I don't really care.
I kind of hate Kid Rock to the point where we talk about tons of people we hate on the podcast, but he's one that I think I want to put a moratorium on, even talking about. He makes me he pisses
he's
me
kind
off
of
to the
boring
point
to me, honestly.
Yeah, I can't even think of. That's kind of what I mean is there's nothing really much to say about him other than I think when I think about him being a piece of shit, I think about this the shit that he said on Joe Rogan was horrendous. Obviously about how we just need to drop a fucking nuke on Palestine and
sure
or whatever, and then how he has this whole it's just a classic thing of people pretending they're more, working class than they are, or they come from a more working class background than they really do. He's just a little pampered rich boy. But he let people run with the imagined idea that he was basically because he's from Detroit and he's white and he kind of does the hip hops that he's basically the same as Eminem. So people are oh, he must be humble trailer trash too. It's no, he's boarding school rich boy, but whatever. He's a
interesting one because peel back the curtain here. I wouldn't. Fuck it. Why am I? I'm trying to hedge so I don't just say I was a juggalo, but I was a fucking juggalo basically when I was in middle school. I was a middle school juggalo, right? But enough into
this is
it.
Huge,
and at the
man.
point, I know, but it was it was a really small period of my life, and it wasn't a huge. You know what I mean? I wasn't super into it or whatever. But that was that showed being in that culture, being in the juggalo culture, exposed me to Kid Rock earlier than probably a lot of people, and also in a negative light where I knew that he was just a social climbing fucking celebrity, fucking star fucking trying to just basically he's just craving for fame because he has specific little weird disses that he threw to the Insane Clown Posse early on after he had gotten what he wanted out of them, which is some notoriety and connection. Because you said, he's from Detroit, and you're a white rapper in Detroit. You're getting compared to Eminem. The other biggest thing was ICP, and he did songs with them. He worked with them, and then as soon as he started getting any kind of attention, he talked shit about ICP and this, and it was just oh, fuck this guy. Especially being a juggler, you're this guy is a fucking piece of shit, and clearly he was just trying to use them to get attention. And the second that it was oh, I'm gonna be serious and I'm not gonna be fucking, and there's tons of people who have did music with ICP early on and became famous later and just are still cool, yeah, it's neat. Those guys are neat, you know what I mean? You don't need to disavow them to make yourself credible or something. People most people understand what ICP is and the gimmick and the whole thing, and they don't go oh, how could you like that? It's pro wrestling basically, and it's the people who get really really turn their nose up to it are just actually the really stupid people. They're oh, only dumb people would like that, and it's yeah, you're actually the dumb one because you don't realize it's a gimmick, it's an act, it's meant to just be mindless entertainment. Yes, they're bad rappers. Yes, everything they're saying is ridiculous, but it's just fun. It's just meant to be fun. And the fact that he did that, it was even before the big songs and everything happened, it was oh, this guy's clearly a piece of shit. He's clearly got no fucking real connection to the streets. He's just a social climber who's trying to make a name for himself. And then it turns out all these years later, of course, the way that he's just jumped from fucking thing to thing, constantly looking for what's new and hot that's going to get him attention. And now it's fucking Lauren Boebert, which is very funny to be fucking Kid Rock is just jumping from thing to thing to keep himself relevant. And this finally where he ends up is he's fucking a congresswoman.
Yeah, I just remembered another thing with him. Let's just get the Kid Rock shit all out of the way for all time right now.
Sure.
Never again. I had a thing that we just skipped because whatever, I always have too much shit on the documents. But for the inauguration, it was Kid Rock was being interviewed on the BBC, back to the BBC again. And I just got distracted thinking about that dumb tweet again, BBC.
Hell yeah.
And basically the whole story was like Kid Rock is just like this lecherous fucking idiot who's like just hitting on this lady who wasn't even in the studio. She was like, you know, coming in like remote from wherever. Yeah, it was like this pathetic, like very overt flirting with this woman, and she just like shut it down. That's the trash corner for today.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna ask you, as a juggalo, you can illuminate. Are there gatherings all over like the country, or is there like a singular one?
Well,
like where is it usually?
I can't speak. Oh, I mean, it's always like in the same, or it has always been like in the same area. But I'm sure that like I can't speak to like
is it in Michigan?
Right this moment. But it's normally at like Cave in Rock. But I know it's moved around a bunch.
Did you ever go?
I've never gone. No.
You were only into this shit for a second. I forgot.
Yeah,
Okay.
for a very small amount of time while I was in middle school, right? So I wasn't going to get to go to the gathering.
You were going to go to the gathering in middle school.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Cave and Rock State Park in Illinois is where the gathering was for a lot of the time that I paid attention and known about it. It's just like a giant state park, and they it's on the Ohio River, it says here. That's like where they normally do it, or they normally did it at a point. I think over the years it's moved, but it's not a tour. They don't do like the gathering of the juggalos all over the place. Now, that's not to say that they never have done like a gathering tour.
I was thinking of it more in terms of how Burning Man, like people do like these little pop-up burns or whatever, right? Like in different parts of the country. I was thinking more like that, but
yeah. No. Yeah, see, no, it's primarily in like parks. It's been in convention centers, and then it's in like national parks a lot of times. Yeah. For many years here, they show that it's always in Cave and Rock, Hagen Rock, like a lot of different like national parks.
Hagen Rock.
Hagen Rock, yeah. It's primarily Oklahoma City, Ohio, Indiana. Yeah, so basically it's like it's Middle America places. It's a big festival for like a weekend. Sometimes it'll be like for a week. You know what I mean? It's amorphous, but it's like pretty solidly what it is. It's like a 2 to 5 day event that happens in one spot, and everyone goes there and camps out and parties and, you know, does drugs. And
right.
It is kind of like Burning Man in a lot of ways, in the sense where it's like it turns into its own little ecosystem with its own like communities and trade systems, and you know what I mean, and like stuff like that. But it's not like I guess it is just like Burning Man, really. Yeah.
I would kind of be contrarian about that. If I had to go to one of those two, I would probably rather go see the Juggalo shit.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Yes, the gathering would be 100% way cooler than the Burning Man. Yeah.
I have to imagine it's cheaper because Burning Man is like expensive as fuck.
Burning Man is expensive. It's a bunch of fucking rich hoity-toity people. They might take a lot of drugs, but I think to me it feels like they probably only take like, you know, classy drugs. You know what I mean? Like they'll probably find a lot of different stuff, but it's probably a lot of like psychedelics primarily, and weed and things, and alcohol, but not like fucking that. You're not going to find people with like tanks of nitrous. Well, maybe you will find some nitrous, especially
I'm
now.
Sure everything. I think everything's there.
You're not going to find like meth and crack and stuff as much. You're not going to. And the thing about the gathering of the Juggalos is you get a bunch of music. You get people just shooting off bottle rockets at people's heads all throughout the weekend constantly. And wrestling shows, and you know, monster trucks.
I think there's comedy too.
Comedy and tons of cool, stupid shit happening the whole time, as opposed to Burning Man, where it's all just hippie bullshit. You know what I mean? Like it's primarily.
I've heard people talk about Burning Man, and some of it does sound undeniably kind of interesting, but like just in general, this whole scene is not my scene. Also,
right.
Last week's guest, Jason, has told me multiple times that Burning Man has like caused people to commit suicide.
Sure.
Was his assertion. Like people who worked for Burning Man because like the working conditions were so bad or something. I don't know how much there is to that, but I think also maybe just some disturbed people have committed suicide around the time that they worked at Burning Man. But anyway. Well, over to the geopolitical Burning Man of the day. So, some shit is going down with the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. Basically, the U.S. is taking a big, sharp turn away from supporting their proxy. They're just really throwing Zelensky out to dry, which has been like happening in slow motion for a while. We've kind of brought it up on the show here and there. But now it's like a real sharp turn to where Mr. Hegseth, Mr. Crusader Tattoos himself, made a speech to NATO declaring like very definitively that Ukraine will never even be considered to be brought into NATO, that it's unrealistic, which was like basically the thing that the whole fucking war has been, like, at least from the Russian perspective, and at least what Putin has been saying for decades now, almost. That's like the biggest like sticking point almost, was like, no, you have to like in writing say you'll like never offer. I mean, also though, I mean, the United States breaks its fucking promises constantly, so I don't know what that would really matter, but I mean, I guess it's better than not doing it and then like teasing, like stringing Ukraine along, which they've been doing for years as well. Like, maybe we'll think about it. We're open. But of course, they never really were. The whole thing has been using Ukrainian bodies to throw at Russia to try to weaken it. Of course, I'm going to assume listeners are familiar with at least, I don't know, the podcast's stance on the whole thing. We're of the school of thought. Well, I don't know if I should fully speak for you, but I'm assuming.
Feel free.
But that, yeah, I use words like proxy war when talking about this thing because that's what it clearly is to me. But
yeah, you don't need to get my approval to say that. I 100% agree.
Yeah, I figured. I realized I was like, we here at the podcast, I don't know if you and I have ever really talked about it that much. I know we agree about the Azov battalion being
based Chads.
Problematic brotherhood of like-minded fellows. Yeah, so he said like, no way are they getting into NATO. He said this at a NATO conference. And then the hilarious little bit I noticed was he ended his speech with, he said, Uncle Sam is not going to be Uncle Sucker. And I didn't hit my ears the funny way at first until I saw it like written out. It's like, Uncle Sucker, god damn.
Seems a bit yeah.
So, I mean, to be fair to this monstrous asshole, Pete Hegseth, he did also like say some quote that used the word sucker in the, the slang term of like a gullible person right before he said that. But it's still the way he said it with a lot of like over enunciation and like, he's not very good at public speaking, despite being like a fucking news anchor or whatever for however many years.
Right.
I was going to bring this up last week. I've seen him like talking in public a couple times, and he's fucking unnerving to look at. He's just
I don't like him,
motherfucker.
I don't like seeing him.
One thing I notice he does when he's talking, he's standing up on at the dais, like with Trump kind of off to the side at one of these things, not the NATO thing, but whatever, an earlier thing. And he just keeps looking at Trump like when he refers to stuff, like it's that in that way of kind of like, am I saying it right, Dad? It's like very pathetic. And did the same thing with Netanyahu. He was sitting across the table from Netanyahu and just it's like he's just taken a public speaking class and he's like, oh, they tell us like, look at him for 5 seconds, then move on. Look at him for 5 seconds, then move on. He's turning his head. But anyway, that's probably the least of the problems with Pete Hegseth is his awkward public speaking. But yeah, so now maybe we should just call him Uncle Sucker from now on.
Yeah, Mr. Old Uncle Sucker.
Pete Uncle Sucker Hegseth. And then the other big piece of the whole thing, potentially, I mean, I guess equally as big of a deal as saying no NATO for you, is quote, returning to Ukraine's pre-2014 borders is an unrealistic objective. That's been like the biggest thing. Like everyone who's been cheerleading this war on has been like we're gonna take back Crimea and all this totally unrealistic, insane bullshit. And now they're just saying, yeah, we're dropping all that after nearly 3 years of 1 million Ukrainian fucking deaths later. I think that's like pretty much the death toll at this point. like a generation of young Ukrainian men are like basically gone. It's crazy. Like, and like, I hate that I even feel like I have to say this, but it's like the way I talk about this war is not like fuck Ukraine, I hate you. It's not like I feel fucking terrible for the Ukrainian people. It's just like I show it in a different way than just putting a fucking flag in my Avi and just cheering on what the U.S. keeps telling me should be done. It's not like I'm like,
now that
anyway,
seems
whatever.
That seems weird because I've heard that you're Putin's puppet and you hate Ukraine and that you suck Daddy Putin's dick. That's what I've heard. And now you're saying you don't hate. Okay, all right. I mean, it's a little bit more nuanced take, I guess, but it's not, what people seem to take away from never listening to the podcast ever and just being like, completely off base on their opinion on things. So you're telling me that's wrong?
I don't want to disappoint anybody, but I've only put Putin's penis in my mouth when I felt like doing it.
Okay, I mean, I'll give it to you. You're bottoming from you're topping from the bottom. That's what they call it, a power bottom.
Yeah. Indeed. So that's, I mean, this is a pretty big deal in terms of, maybe the most consequential like conflict in the last few years. I mean, up there with the next fun topic, I guess, or whatever the next topic after the next. We'll see. I guess that's all there is to say about the Ukraine situation. Other than, actually a couple more quick things here. Then this happened like maybe the week before, but I just wanted to mention like Zelensky is like more out of his mind than ever, and speculation is he's a big cokehead, so he may be coked up and just kind of having an episode on top of it.
Sure.
But he went on the Piers Morgan show, and he was basically having a breakdown, and he just starts yelling about how the U.S. needs to give him nukes. It's like, you think that's where this is headed, buddy? Holy shit. I'd almost feel bad for him if he wasn't like a willing puppet his entire political career, and, maybe he got all caught up in something and just, I can't turn back now. I really committed to this thing, but I don't know. He'll be fine, unless Azov does like take him out, which is not a crazy thing to imagine happening, honestly. But he's also super rich, and he could just flee the country and live on a beach for the rest of his life, if he wanted to.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah, he could possibly abscond. One thing there though that was slightly confusing to me is you said Piers Morgan, and I always thought that his name was Pierced Organ, and he was called that from the time that I ruptured his spleen while fucking his ass.
Oh Jesus! I thought you were gonna go with a Prince Albert reference there, not that, but all right.
Because I pierced.
I mean, that works too. It could be a double pierced organ situation. Meta pierced organ with the pierced organ.
Pierced organ
Good
with
Christ.
my pierced organ. Yeah. Either way.
Well, I mean, you're obviously right on that.
Okay. I didn't want to correct you, but I was just like, I think that's wrong. I don't think that's. The thing is, like you said, the idea that the Azov battalion would just take him out, like, I don't think, again, like, he could run necessarily. Like,
well, he leaves the country all the time. Like, he comes to America and he travels all over the world. Like, now that like things have taken this hard turn, and it looks like, it's just a matter of not that much more time before it's officially over, and like, treaties are signed and all of that.
Is he gonna know to get the fuck
there could
out
be
of there,
Yeah, I mean, if I were him, I would have been done gone yesterday.
Sure.
But yeah. And then Trump said something hilarious. Can you believe it? Trump.
Not my serious president, Donald J. Trump. No. The J in Trump is for Joker.
Twisted. Richard T. Joker. The T's were twisted. Trump demands $500 billion in as he put it, rare earths. He didn't say rare earth minerals. He said rare earths from Ukraine for continued support. So he's on Fox News just like doing flat out fucking Godfather LARPing fucking
war for oil
protection
shit,
racket shit. It's amazing. He's just like, I want to find some of the more like actual language he uses because it's so funny. We have to get something. We can't continue to pay this money, U.S. president says. We got to get something for this deal here.
Yeah, this is a classic quid pro quo situation, folks. I mean, you know, you got to give to get. You can't.
It's also Trump's, let's say, narrow, myopic mind. He's no dummy. He's just nearsighted or farsighted, whatever. Huh. Can't understand like what they have been paying for this whole time, which is to make a bunch of people fight and die on behalf of American interests against Russia. He's like, "What's that? That's nothing to me. I need to see numbers on the pie chart."
It's like it's the only slight argument you can make towards the idea that Trump is a little bit less of a sicko than like the bog standard politicians that have been in charge of America for the past fucking 70 years or whatever, is the idea that like he doesn't see it as a benefit, just like murder, like just people being genocided and killed isn't enough for Trump. He's also like, I got to get my beak
it's
wet.
Just got to be money.
It's like almost like he's he's almost like more of a normal guy because he's like, he doesn't get off on just murdering fucking babies. He also he's got to get fucking paid, folks.
His thing is not primarily power in the way other politicians is. Like he just needs that tangible. I mean, it is in a way, but it's like a different kind of power. Like he likes the power of, I can meet all my fun celebrity friends and do golf. Like, it's not like, oh, I sit in bed at night and think about the fact that if I snap my fingers, I can have this guy killed or whatever, or like take down this nation state. I mean, I'm sure there's some of that there, but I think it's just like, it doesn't occur to him. Like if it did, he'd be into it, but he just doesn't think that way. But yeah, so he's just like, it'd be a shame if something happened to your earthmen, your rare earths.
We need those earths, folks.
But so yeah, he's demanding $500 billion in rare earths from Ukraine because we've done so much for them over the last couple of years.
Rinse due, motherfuckers.
Trump's
damn, dude.
Trump's out there.
He rules. He really does.
So much wild shit again this week, if you can believe it. Including he was doing some sort of press conference or some shit, and he just throws out this idea of like, I'm going to sit down with China and Russia and say, we don't need to be spending $1 trillion on our military. It's like, well, first of all, only America is doing that much. But I mean, his plan is like, I'm going to do Donnie Deal's magic and get China and Russia to agree to also cut in half their defense budget. It's like, you realize that, like, of course he doesn't realize this, but the American military budget dwarfs those other countries. So like everyone just taking 50% off the top doesn't make anything. It's still the same discrepancy, you know, if they all take the same amount away.
Right.
But people doing their stonks, you know, heard this, and apparently like within like 2 minutes after he said it, defense stocks just like crashed or, you know, dropped significantly. Like all the big four, like murder companies in the U.S. had a little panic in the market there because he's like, we're gonna chop this insane defense budget in half, which, you know, of course I'm all for something like that. Of course he's doing it for like the dumb and wrong reasons, and it's never gonna happen on top of all of that. But it's funny because he's seeing like what Elon Musk's been doing lately, and he just thinks like, he doesn't realize that like a lot of stuff hasn't been truly cut. Well, anyway, he probably does think though that like Elon Musk can just like,
whoa. You're saying that maybe his Slovenian son that was, you know, raised with no attention from him, it may be not as cut as he assumed. Maybe he thinks some things are cut and they're not. Okay.
The old
I don't know. I'm just saying,
modesty
folks.
sleeve.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of. I'm gonna assume there's a lot of young, girls who are fans of the Red Scare podcast who are found out firsthand over there at where is he at? NYU? What school is he at?
Baron von Trump.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are talking about how he's doing pretty good with the Dime Square adjacent ladies over there at whatever New York college he's in currently.
It'll be funny if the first time I ever hear his voice is finding out that he went on fucking Red Scare.
Yeah. Oh, you mean his voice now? Because of course you've heard the "I like my suitcase" that video that's going.
I don't remember that. See, I miss a lot of this shit. There's something else.
It was a couple weeks ago, and it was incredibly all over the place. But it was some fucking extra ETV fucking bit about Melania and Baron when he was just a toddler, or maybe he was in kindergarten. And he just speaks with the thickest Slovenian accent. And then he's like, "I like my suitcase." If you're a female listener of the podcast who lives in New York and you've seen Baron Trump's penis, please report. We got to know. Has he had the big C or not? And I'm not talking about cancer, folks.
And Trump also, this was in the same press conference or whatever it was, him standing in front of reporters talking. I guess that's a press conference. Well, he was sitting on his desk. Anyway, whatever. He said, "There's no reason for us to be building brand new nuclear weapons." So this all just seems to me he's realizing all the shit that the Doge brigade is doing is I don't know, he's just he's such a simpleton. He's just seeing how could we cut down on costs? And he's actually is turning towards the Pentagon. I mean, I don't expect anything even close to come from this. I mean, I'll be really blown away if something significant happens to the Pentagon budget, but it's still notable that he even said it and that the market reacted to it. But then, so he tacked on this, basically teasing the idea of also gathering China and Russia around. And Donnie dealsing it out to where they all agree to basically stop at least building new nukes. I don't think he said anything about actually getting rid of anything. I mean, that'd be wacky. But then that reminded me of the Obama days when he was with the soaring rhetoric, and he's gonna get rid of all the nukes, folks. Oh, I promise. Pinky swear. And did the exact opposite. and to tie it back into Ukraine, it was predicated on, or rather, it launched off of the 2014 Euromaidan coup in Ukraine was when it was I think we got to start modernizing was the word they would use. We got to do nuclear. So it went from nuclear abolition and then in a handful of years to nuclear modernization under Obama. Thanks, Obama, to bring that one back.
That's a good one. It never left. Just that's what she said.
Right. The eternal joke bits.
Eternal thanks, Obama. Yeah. Actually, I think you could say thanks, Obama. You can just say Obama. But if you're saying his name, in general, you have to say Obama or Kamabla. That's another one. You have to say Kamabla.
It's good.
Kamabla.
It's good shit.
Anyways.
We can look forward to another
we love it,
4 years of that. Well, here's a goofy palate cleanser of sorts. Do you see a man known as Cool Adam on your screen there?
Of course.
So someone just made a funny tweet. It was, I guess, riffing off of this, as far as I can tell from scrolling through their Twitter, this person, Sibyl, doesn't matter. This is nobody.
Sibian.
Seems like.
It's Sibian. It's that machine that they use to make women come.
Yeah, the Howard Stern fuck seat.
Yeah. Yeah.
This person's one Twitter description of themselves is "Joe will forever be my guy," and their banner picture is Joe Biden's one sunglass lens with a reflection in it. And then
That's so good.
Her just Abby picture is Biden and Jill like hugging and embracing each other. And then the very first,
damn, it's amazing.
The very first tweet is picture of Joe with his aviators on, with his arms crossed, standing between two Marines. And she writes, "The most presidential man who was ever president, whoever was president." Yeah. But the tweet in question from this person is just a picture of I almost said Obama again. It's just so fun to say.
Obama. Joe Obama. Everyone knows him, folks.
How do we Obamify Biden's name? Like Kablambla, Obama, Bidman? I don't know. That's bad.
Joe Biden? Yeah.
Joe Bibnum. Joe Bibnum. Looking old. And she just wrote, "Yes, he was, quote, boring, and I loved every second of it." So, to extrapolate, the dear listener, she's just doing that thing that basically that Joe Biden ran his whole 2020 campaign on, which is like, "You liked me, you never have to watch the news again, Jack." It's going to be boring. Yeah. It's going to be so nothing of consequence is going to happen from 2021 to 2025. Just those are the most insane things to say.
Nothing exciting happened. No, nothing. It was just just turn it off. Fucking autopilot, babies. 4 years of pure autopilot.
Autopiloting at brunch.
Remember
this? I brunch different with my autopilot.
Do you remember when there was the seasons for politics?
I thought you were meaning.
Do you remember being?
I thought this was a wistful a climate catastrophe. Look back on the past.
Climate change. No. I remember being a freak who was obsessed with politics since childhood, right? And it was always I've talked about it, the reason why I like doing podcasts is I like talk radio. I got into talk radio, and then the primary talk radio that you could find was political talk, right? Mm. So then that turned into just caring about politics because I just wanted to hear talk radio. But there used to be every 4 years there was a couple months where people cared about politics. And that was it. And then the rest of the time, it was just for us freaks to talk about and be obsessed with. And now it feels like it's 24/7, 365 every year.
100%.
Politics doesn't go away. It's just entertainment all the time. So the idea that there was, remember Biden when it was boring? It's no, because it's constant. There's no such thing as boring politics anymore. And even though that was Biden's whole thing, that's what he presented as what you were voting for, it's impossible now because the timeline, social media, just the content machine demands politics, and if there's no politics, they will make politics. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, it's just, it's you're already basically saying this, but it's it is just totally rooted in a relatively minor technological shift. I mean, the internet is obviously a big shift, but I'm saying the fact that people just post short videos of shit. It's oh, you can watch Biden shit his pants over here, and you don't have to watch the whole fucking news show to see it. You just see it for 5 seconds and you move on. So yeah, it's just easier to see every little fucking nasty detail of this bullshit. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. And I just realized I didn't even get to what this joke was, which was, the point more was to talk about this boring idea. But so this person posted a picture of Adam Friedland from Cumtown, the kind of fans of this whole niche subculture will recognize this picture as a very unflattering picture of Adam Friedland looking very smug and gay-mouthed.
Unflattering? What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, he's a hot piece of ass.
He's one of the most handsome men. Yeah, look at him. That's a really good picture of Adam. Anyway, sorry.
And they played off the yes, he was boring and I loved every second of it, and put yes, he was gay and I loved every second of it. It's a little Cumtown style humor.
Pretty good
for you.
Yeah.
Joe will forever be my guy. And then there's some emoji there that I can't see because I can't zoom in on it yet, but whatever. I'm guessing it's a horny one. This person strikes me as someone who's
probably
definitely horny for Joe Biden. And then Other big news of the week, I would say there was a real sort of roller coaster. That's still, I mean, it's not resolved, and I mean, it's not anyway. Palestine stuff, Gaza, the Gaza Realty Plan, and the ceasefire turbulence, the ceasefire roller coaster. So it basically began with, actually, before I even get into that, I just wanted to quick throw this one out that the previous Minister of Defense in Israel, at-large war criminal Yoav Gallant, sat down in an interview and just was like, well, yeah, I ordered the IDF to just open fire on fucking everybody, including all Israelis. Of course I did. It's the Hannibal Directive. And this forthrightness just like blew my mind is almost too strong, because like nothing really fucking blows one's mind anymore these days if you're paying a lot of attention. But it more just like, it just irks me, pisses me off, because from like October 8th, like the people I pay attention to were all discovering, or at least talking about this thing called the Hannibal Directive, which I'm sure has been brought up on the show before, which is like an actual military doctrine in Israel where it's just like, it's better to just shoot a guy who's being taken hostage, even if he's one of our guys, than to let him be taken hostage, because then Hamas obviously has some leverage.
I heard someone trying to, and obviously it's not like a, it doesn't really make it okay or whatever, but I heard someone trying to say that the Hannibal Directive doctrine, whatever, is like a little bit misrepresented in Western media with the way that we talk about it, where you said like basically exactly what you just said there, in that what it specifically says is like dealing with hostages is a headache, so just shoot to kill. If there's ever a hostage type situation, like someone taking people that you think could be used for leverage for hostages. So it's not, what they said basically was the implication that people like to use is like shoot our guys so that they're just dead and they can't be taken hostage. But what it really means is like show no discretion and just shoot indiscriminately,
which amounts to the same thing,
or the hostage thing. Right. But people do obfuscate the idea and be oh, they just say like kill their people so that they can't be taken hostage, without really talking about the fact that what they're also saying is shoot the people who are trying to take them hostage also. Yeah. Just try to kill everyone involved in the situation.
Which, again, amounts to the same thing.
Right. It's, yeah. It's the same thing, because in that context, the idea is that you would be trying to kill the enemy combatant anyways, right? So it's like it's a distinction with no difference. It's like why do you have to try to clarify that? Like it makes it we already know that,
Classic fucking Zionist fucking horse shit, fucking mealy mouth nonsense. Yeah, I saw the exact same thing. It might not have been the exact same person, but I saw like a Reddit post that said exactly what you just said, and I was like, it made me laugh because like you pull like the key part of what their definition, their redefinition, even in scare quotes, and it's literally it's the same thing. It's like that's the same language I was using essentially, but so yeah, he said the thing, but like people were being called anti-Semitic, insane conspiracy theorists for even talking about that as a possibility. Even just saying like it seems like something like that happened, because all those cars that they keep showing footage of being all burned out and bombed to shit, that wasn't done with small Hamas ordnance. Like that was whatever the fucking like screaming fire death from above missiles or whatever they're called from the fucking helicopters. Like, yeah, they're just blowing up everybody. There's like, you can see fucking video and audio recordings of the people in those helicopters saying over the radio, like, we got to turn around and go get more ammo. Because, like, we just emptied everything, like, indiscriminately.
Right.
And now the fucking top soldier of Israel, he's been, I can't remember if he got fired or if he resigned or whatever, but he's now ex-Israeli war chief, but yeah, he just came out and was like, yeah, I did that. So what? It's war. War is hell. And then basically Hamas was like, we're going to stop giving back hostages for a moment because you motherfuckers won't stop killing us during a ceasefire and doing all kinds of violations of this ceasefire phase 1 agreement. As Tim told us when we talked about it like taking place initially, and I mean I agreed with this too. I was in my feelings about Palestinians celebrating, and it made me feel bad to say that this ceasefire is fake and bullshit. But because it's fake and bullshit, and because this is what Israel always does anytime there's a ceasefire anywhere, they did the same thing recently in Lebanon, 100 violations in 3 days. It's crazy. But so it's been 3 weeks, basically, more or less, that this ceasefire has been going on, and Hamas has come up with a list of about 270 individual violations. So that was the reason they put a little pause on this, exchanging of hostages. And then Trump just got in the middle. He's not in the middle. He's just the player on the villain's side. And in typical Trump fashion, just threw out an arbitrary demand and was like, now you're going to give us all the hostages back by Saturday at noon, which it's about to be that Saturday at noon U.S. time pretty soon. So we'll see what happens. But and then Ben-Gvir, the evil little fucking troll man, came out and was like, we need to immediately go back to dropping every fucking bomb on Gaza because this is crazy what these Hamas guys are doing. Why? For just for no reason. They said they're going to stop giving hostages back. It's not like we violated the ceasefire 270 times. So this is all the lead up to what happened more recently, which is kind of relatively good news. So fingers crossed. Like I said, this deadline is approaching, but basically Israel has completely backed down, and I don't think Trump has actually vocalized him taking his demand off the table or whatever. But now they've lowered it. Okay, if you release. Oh, that's the other thing. So Hamas said we're not going to release these hostages for the time being, and so Israel started blocking all the aid again, as they love doing. But now, as it stands, if Hamas gives 3 hostages back by this Saturday deadline, the aid will start flowing again, I think is basically the conditions, which is what Hamas wanted. So they somehow stay winning in this impossibly fucked up situation, winning with caveats. Obviously, there's a lot of death and whatnot. But yeah, I think that's basically where it's at. I did see this kind of interesting little infographic here. It'll rattle off some ceasefire facts. Israel's violation of humanitarian agreements in Gaza. What was agreed upon? 12,000 aid trucks. What actually happened? 8,500 aid trucks. 50 fuel trucks per day. They only gave 15. 60,000 mobile houses. No mobile houses have been let in to Gaza. 200,000 tents, only 20,000 tents. I mean, you can just picture them doing this, such spiteful little fucking sadistic fucking Nazis, these fucking people. Just any little thing they can shave. It's not even shave off. I mean, this is a huge reduction from what they're supposed to be doing. And it fucking matters. It's life or death for some people. And if not death, something, awful. So yeah, if you can believe it, Israel has remained Nazis and shitty, even during the ceasefire.
What the fuck? No way.
And then there were some crazy takes out there as usual. I'm not going to get super into it. I mean, the headline suffices almost with this one. If Indians and Pakistanis can relocate, why can't Gazans? When that shit went down with India and Pakistan, millions of people died. You really want to use that as the fucking template, the thing you want to compare the situation to? It's insane. And I think the guy who wrote that is either Indian or Pakistani. And I felt like that was the whole point of it. I think it was a Wall Street Journal article. I'm not even opening it, but yeah. And it's oh, the Pakistani guy can say that because he's Pakistani. No, he's talking about, he's okaying ethnic cleansing and genocide, putting a weird veneer over it. That's
I like I kind of like bringing back that style of like understanding of race relations, where it's like you can literally just say anything if you're brown. It's like ID poll to like the next degree, where it's like, yeah, you can just like, you can call for the murder of anyone. If you're Pakistani, you can say that all black people should be genocided. Like, yeah, that's how it works. You're allowed.
Yeah, it's POCs talking about POCs. Anything goes. And shit, don't get me started on white people.
Mm-hmm. Honky ass crackers. Yeah.
God, there's what was, I can't remember. This was just like a video clip of this fucking awful woman on Israeli TV, and she's just talking about the like, you know, Trump's relocation plan or Gaza reality plan, which is like how all the, I mean, I say this with a tone of like, I'm outraged, I'm surprised. It is because it's crazy when you think about it, even though it's to be expected. But this is the way like the supposed like paper of record of the resistance, the hashtag resistance, the New York Times, this is the way they talk about Trump's shit. They sanitize it completely. It's like, even if they wouldn't come out and say what it really is by definition, which is ethnic cleansing, they could say something a little more biting than Trump's realty plans for Trump's got real estate plans for Gaza. Let's see what that's about. But anyway, this Israeli woman was basically like, we can ship the Palestinians, the Gazans off to she just starts listing places, including like Germany. She's like, put them in Hamburg. Like, what? Why don't I think maybe fucking you should go to Germany, where you're from originally. Right. If there should be an Israel style state anywhere, it should be fucking Germany. I mean, this is not an original point, but it's to me it's a fucking legitimate argument. And then she's like, oh, and we'll keep like 400 people behind to be like our servants and slaves. She doesn't say the word servants and slaves, but that's what it means. It's like low cost labor. Great. Cool plan. And all right. Back to the more fun shit. Shartlow's back in the streets, in the tweets, in the news. My level of news again. Yeah. Fartlow or Shartlow, as I would like to alternate between now. Continues to lose her shit, pun now intended, as I wrote there. She had two bangers recently. Let's see what old Evie has to say. Oh, this content is no longer available. Why is that? God damn it!
What the fuck? God damn it, Fartlow!
I think that might have. I think that might have been something I fucked up because I just put a link to like the image. No. Although we can blame Fartlow still for that.
Fartlow. All right.
She made a little list. Fuck Kanye, all caps. Fuck Kanye West. Fuck Hamas. Mm-hmm. Fuck Hezbollah. Fuck the Houthis. Fuck Hitler. The first thing I noticed is
I have to agree.
Hitler's fifth on the list, though. You'd think if you were so angry at Nazis that Hitler, I think, would make it above Kanye West on your shit list, your fuck everybody list. That's really telling to me. I don't know why. But
I don't know.
Fuck Khomeini. Fuck the Ayatollahs. Fuck Students for Justice in Palestine. What a crazy list.
This is so good.
Fuck Qatar. Fuck Jeremy Corbyn. Fuck the BBC. Yep. You get a third big black cock in here today. Fuck the BBC. Yeah, the freedom fighters, the solidarity with Palestine, BBC. Fuck Al Jazeera. Okay, that's like the closest one to anyone who's actually supportive of Palestine. Well, that's not true. Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis are as well. But fuck Ireland. They are pretty. They got some decent solidarity, pro-Palestinian solidarity going in Ireland. Fuck UNRWA. Yeah, the UN like fucking charity agency. They're secretly Hamas, of course. And I don't even know who this is. Who's Antonio Guterres? Do you know?
No.
Yeah, whatever. And then space between all of those for the biggest, most important one at the end. Fuck anti-Semitism. Yeah. Feel it.
No, see. When you were saying about Hitler should have been at the top, you misunderstood because it was going from it was counting
But
down.
then that means Hitler's still pretty low.
In the middle. Yeah. He's still way too early. Yeah, for sure.
That's actually kind of crazier.
It's kind of worse.
Because you're saying that means like students for Palestine, justice in Palestine were evil than Hitler. Jeremy Corbyn,
for sure.
worse than Hitler.
He kind of is. I mean, in a lot of ways, Hitler didn't really know. Jeremy Corbyn has had years he could have learned.
Yeah, he knows better. He done sat his ass down.
Yeah, he should. Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for the laughs, Fartlow. Where would I be without you?
We love it, folks.
And then she also, let's see, I'll shout out this person. Hun Egypt, user Hun, Hun Egypt, on the Bad Hasbara subreddit, wrote, "It's normally advisable to avoid using solution when debating the fate you would like to inflict on an entire people." In response to Eve Barlow's tweet of, "So America is providing an actual solution. Send the Palestinians elsewhere for the length of time it takes them and their children to be de-radicalized before they can return to Gaza. And the leftists are mad about that? The grift is grifting. Ugh. Stop embarrassing yourselves is the best part of the whole thing."
Oh, folks. The grift be grifting, folks. I love it. Excuse me, ma'am. Do it be grifting? I love to walk up to a girl in the club and be like, "I know it be grifting." Oh, let me see that thing. Do it grift? Yeah. What the fuck? God.
Tokyo grift.
Tokyo grift. Yeah. I was gonna. This just came up. I was going to mention this. It was like David Griscom. I posted a link to him and RM Brown having their grill stream in the comment on it. But like, it'd be so perfect if David Griscom was like a piece of shit, because it would be really nice to call him David Grift Scum. But you can't call him that because he's actually just a good guy. But yeah, Jesus Christ. It's brutal. Brutal stuff, man.
Oh, God damn it. Sorry, man. Did you fucking hear anything?
Oh, that's a party foul, sir.
Is this thing on?
Yeah, you're good.
Damn it, man. Sorry about that. My fucking mic stand just fucking crashed and fucking everything went to shit.
Crash into me.
You were on a roll there with something too, and I fucking couldn't hear anything. Sorry, man.
It's okay.
Fuck that. I can figure it out in the edit. It fucking shut down or stopped the recording, but that won't be too hard to fix. Oh, God damn it. I blame Eve Fartlow for that. She heard us mocking her.
It's her fault.
She used her witchy ways to make my microphone stand collapse.
Oh, witchy woman. Yeah.
I don't know if you want to reiterate what you were saying that I couldn't hear.
Nope. Nah, it doesn't matter. I'm done. Fucking done, folks. With an X. When I say it, and when I say folks, you all know it's with an X. I'm gender inclusive.
Just the word the letter X just made me remember something I wish I never knew in the first place, which is
stop. Drop. Shut them down. Open it up. Shop. Oh.
Elon Musk calls his little fucking stupid ass child little X, and that makes my teeth crawl.
He loves it. He loves it, folks. He's been doing the X thing since the 90s. It's gross. It's the idea that remember when the whole thing with this dumbass name with him and Grimes, right?
Yeah.
It's a on all this stupid shit.
Math equation from an alien. Wow.
How could anyone ever say the name? And then what did he do? He calls it X. Grimes was the first baby mama that was stupid enough to let Elon name their kid X. And you know he's been trying to do it the entire time.
Yeah,
I think you had some
sure.
Grime notes in the notes, right? You had some Grimes.
I do. It's a brief one. She got an award, an AI award. It's so fucking dumb.
Dumbest bitch in the universe award? I thought they only did that once a decade.
So Time Magazine, I don't know why Time Magazine is doing this either. Also, I'm going to say Grimes' face has fallen off hard. I know everybody ages or whatever, but
yeah, she hit the wall, brother.
If she wasn't such a stupid ass bitch, I wouldn't be so petty. But she really sucks. I shared with you the 7,000 mile long Reddit post that has like aggregated every awful Nazi-ish hateful thing she's ever been involved in online. It's so long. Just it's all factual. But anyway, Grimes celebrates trailblazers creating, quote, magic with AI. So she was presumably flown out to Dubai for these AI in Time 100 AI Impact Awards. What did she contribute to AI, do you think? I'm sure she was like programming, right? No. Here's the article. This is literally the beginning and the end of her AI credentials. At least unless Time 100 left something out. I read the whole stupid article. In her speech accepting the award, Grimes began referencing a famous quote from Arthur C. Clarke, in which the science fiction writer observes that advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. That is such the fucking... That's just such a thing Grimes would do. Like, that quote is really pretty overused. But anyway, she then used the onstage moment as an opportunity to celebrate other notable innovators like herself, right? She found deserving of recognition.
I fucking hate her so much.
I used to think she was kind of neat, kind of cute.
I love her
music. I'm not
music.
even huge on her. I like a couple songs, but I never really. It was like background music for me a little bit. I didn't really get into it that deep. But she said, "I want to shout out some of my favorite real life wizards and some real life magic that exists now." I kind of read the wrong paragraph, but
I hate
but
her
that
so
helps
much.
set
I
up
hate
the
her.
whole thing anyway. But I scrolled past it. Here are her AI credentials. It's actually the very beginning of the article. While much of the music industry has shied away from AI, Grimes has embraced it. In 2023, the musician and producer, remember, this is what she did to get the award. This is the whole thing. The musician and producer made headlines when she announced that she would allow fans to simulate her voice using AI to create new music and promised to split royalties with those who did. Wow, magnanimous. Such an innovator in the world of AI. Essentially, she got flown out to Dubai, given an award and a bunch of, attention because one time she said, it'd be cool if someone used my voice as a computer voice. End of innovation. That's it. I'm sure these awards are just some fucking like tax scam or some shit anyway, but still, it kind of struck me as funny. Real life wizard Grimes, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
I really do hate her a ton. It was really hard to listen to. And the toughest part is because I think her music is the best. I think she has so many cool songs and I'm into it. But yeah, like to begin, just to respond, circle back to the beginning of this chat, Canadian white women, when it comes to hitting the wall, they hit it hard and fast. Cause yeah, like they are not, white women in general are not like super great when it comes to the wall, but Canadian white woman, like, I'm sorry, ma'am, but you have to fucking circle back. Do not pass go. Do not collect $100. Go straight to jail type.
That's that Toronto drift.
It's just drifting right into the fucking, into the embankment,
Exactly.
the snow embankment on the side. crashing over, flipping 300 times. She's dumb as shit. She sucks. And the idea that she's winning awards for AI when she's done the closest thing to AI that she's done is ingesting all of the ejaculate. That's her AI. I guess it's AI. But either way, fucking she sucks so bad. Anyways.
Hey,
But I mean, people are talking about fucking Elon winning like a fucking Nobel Prize.
We'll just get
he's gonna get the Nobel Prize for being a fucking autistic freak that everyone hates. Are they doing that this year? Is that the Nobel Prize?
No, man. It's for his work in the realm of being a free speech warrior. Really, that's what. There's. I have two articles out here. We are not going to get into them.
It's fucking dog shit.
Two people genuinely writing about why Elon Musk is a strong candidate or just flat out deserves the Nobel Peace Prize for being a stout proponent of free speech, is the quote. But you said the word swallowing ejaculate, and that leads into this next little palate cleanser style. I'm going to bring back the palate cleanser thing. I think that was good. It's coming back, folks. Make palates cleansed again.
This is a really good article to cleanse a palate with when it comes to, when I want to cleanse my palate, I know exactly what I'm reaching for.
This will be the second time now in the storied history of this podcast that we've reported on a human person being swallowed by a whale. There was a story, I guess probably like 4 years ago, maybe more, about a guy getting swallowed by a whale, but it was not documented. So some people were saying it was a lie or whatever, even though there were witnesses and stuff. And swallowed and spat out, because as I learned from reading this very cool book that I'll recommend once again called Whale Fall, one word, whale fall. Whales have very narrow esophaguses and physically cannot fit a human being into their bodies via the mouth, except for potentially in a very weird circumstance, a sperm whale. Speaking of swallowing sperm again.
Oh,
and that's what happens in the book, the fictional book, obviously, but it sets up this weird situation where it could actually happen and someone could stay alive long enough to have like a horrifying experience in the belly of a whale. Man, that's a good book. But yeah, this guy gets swallowed by a fucking whale. It's like, it's not trying to swallow him. It's just like sees a bunch of fish and opens its big ass mouth and gets this kayaker in there. But the whole time his dad is filming it and being pretty calm about it. And he's speaking in Spanish, and I think he just keeps repeating, how would you say, like, tranquil in Spanish? It's basically the same word almost.
Tranquilo.
He just keeps saying tranquilo, like stay calm, son. And I don't know, maybe a minute goes by and then he just like pops up out of the water again, and it's a pretty wild video. Check out that show notes document linked in the episode description to find that link, or just search in your search bar swallowed by whale in Chile. So I thought that was a neato little story. And it also, I think something came up earlier in this episode, I can't remember what it was we were talking about now, but
probably
just the idea about how like politics is 24/7, 365 now.
I was joking, like the idea, like I thought something came up earlier on this podcast. Yeah, for sure, there was definitely something.
Something did.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, that's me just letting words flow out of my face without thoughts.
Word style.
No, but the idea of like everyone with their dang phones in their pockets, with mini computers with cameras on them in their jeans. Like, I feel like maybe a plus side to the nightmare of everyone staring at their phones is that we'll get to see all kinds of weird shit that happens in the natural world that we never could have possibly seen before, or one person in a rare circumstance would see, and it would be like so unbelievable or whatever that not many people would believe it. So yeah, that's your silver lining corner of the fiscal quarter. You get one. You get 4 a year, and then again, segue time. Speaking of swallowed. The Chinese, the inscrutable insectile hive mind of the Chinese has eaten our lunch, eaten the U.S.'s lunch, swallowing it up.
No, not again.
So get a little but what at cost corner here. Definitely not going through all of these. It's piled up over the last couple weeks maybe, but God, it's so funny how long ago, like for just as an example, the DeepSeek thing, that feels like months ago to me now. That was like 2 weeks, maybe 3,
a week and a half.
I don't even know. But I mean, actually, you know, I'll skip this because I think I've mentioned this in the last episode. But there is some bill where they're trying to outlaw DeepSeek in Congress right now, and it would be like $1 million fine, possible prison time. Oh, part of that though was that certain government agencies have banned DeepSeek specifically, or I think it was in the case of NASA, AI has a blanket ban for like any NASA devices. And then I'll do a little correction on what I said last week. I said that it's been banned in Texas, which I left out the fact that it's been banned on government devices in Texas, not everybody within the state lines of Texas. And then there's just a bunch of like, I watch these videos and read these articles, and it's just like a fucking endless barrage of just like, here's all the way, like count the ways China is beating America at this, that, and the other. And there's just so many. So I'm always happy to see one of the muskrats companies get shit upon, of course, especially by China, I guess. China beats Starlink with 10 times faster, 100 gigabytes per second space to ground laser transmission. Take that, muskrat. And now, like, the same people who've been saying, like, China can't innovate for shit are the same exact people are now making, like, these pleas, like, on the floor of the Senate, saying that literally the word steal. We should steal China's best AI talent so we can keep up. It's like, you're fucking late. There were a bunch of Chinese scientists in America, and, like, tons of them have gone back to China because they were being treated like shit here, and, like, things were being run really poorly. So they're like, fuck it. All right. We wanted to help you out, but you're going to be an asshole. Just go back to China. And then this leads into OpenAI. Sam Altman, who I never really paid attention to at all and still barely have, but anytime I see, he just annoys the shit out of me. Like, if he was more, I don't know, fucking chatty, like the muskrat, I'd probably hate him equally. I'm wondering if I even care about this anymore. Basically, it's just more of the, like, China eating said lunch. Sam Altman has been he's got this, like, grift going, like, to talk about the grifting, Fartlow. He's had this, like, nuclear fusion company going along, I think, in partnership with Peter Thiel, and they have produced zero tests, like, just nothing in 11 years. So it's like, it just seems very obvious that there's just another shell game bullshit where there's nothing there. They're just, you know, waving their hands in front of your face going, look over there, look here. Doesn't nuclear fusion sound nice? Infinitely renewable energy. But then, of course, China has, like, actually made huge leaps in that.
Of course. What are we even doing anymore, man?
No, I mean,
China is really eating our lunch, you know? They're really fucking our ass. We just have to give up. Is it too late for America to join BRICS? Can we get in there?
You know, the funniest thing is from everything I've ever learned about BRICS, which is, like, I would say above average, but not, like, I'm certainly no expert.
Sure,
but
yeah.
I think they would, if America actually had the humility and the weird turn to ask that, they would probably let them
in. Yeah.
I mean, that's basically that's like the Chinese line on all of this shit. Oh man, you're frozen. What's going on? just this is a me problem.
Oh no! Oh no!
Don't know how to fix this. Oh. Tim has left the Zoom. Let us chant a meditative Om. Get some Oms going in the chat so he comes back soon. Do some Lord's Prayer. Do some Grimes AI wizardry magic. Come on back, Tim. Where you at? What's going on? And he's back. Our prayers and chants and AI wizardry work.
Jesus. Christ, they cut me out because I was dreaming of a world of America joining the BRICS.
It's too intense for the Zoom chat.
They shut it down.
They got us. They got the shadow banning us, folks.
No,
donate to the Patreon or whatever.
The last thing I heard you saying was basically something that I was quickly agreeing with, which is that if America had the hubris to ask to join BRICS would be like, sure, come along.
That is the last thing I said before like an earthquake fucking shook you out of the Zoom.
Before I went to the Shadow Realm, yeah.
Yeah, let's push for U.S. join BRICS. U.S. go on Chapo, join BRICS.
Yeah, might as well.
But yeah, like, I mean, on like this, it is just like almost, it's just kind of sad. It's sad for America that like the stuff that makes it's all fake. It's all fake, folks. Like these projects are like, I mean, they're not actually pyramid schemes, but they're scams. They're just scams. Like, it's all a fucking scam. It's pump and dump, AI bubble bullshit, but it's like plastered over like in like every sector, basically. Right. So like this AI fucking Altman asshole is like, I could do nuclear stuff. It's like, you're fucking business douche. You don't know anything about science. And like any legitimate scientist has looked at this 11-year-long project and been like, there's nothing to even look at. There's nothing to analyze. There's nothing. There are no experiments. There's nothing being built. It's just a bank account, essentially. But like, unlike that, again, the theme of China eating our dang lunch. Some of these we've brought up in the past, but I'm just going to rattle them off here because they sound like actual exciting, like sources of real scientific progress. Chinese nuclear reactors completely meltdown proof. We talked about that one once. China's artificial sun shatters nuclear fusion record by generating steady loop of plasma for 1,000 seconds. That's like, yeah, like it says, record shattering. Why China is building a thorium molten salt reactor. China's demo reactor could breed nuclear fuel from rare earth waste. They're not even going to just make nuclear fusion like the cleanest, most renewable theoretical source of energy. They're going to be like, and we can get rid of all the bad shit that's been piling up for a while. Do you one better? We're going to make energy out of your shit, your literal shit. Well, not really literal shit, but whatever. I think that's good for that corner. Oh no, there is a little more about Sam Altman. OpenAI to take over U.S. nuclear weapons security. I can't imagine anything going wrong there. The same technology that suffers from, and this is the technical term, hallucinations, AI hallucinations, is going to be in charge of nuclear weapons security. Very cool. And then in that same realm, Elon Musk is being asked to, for some reason, like this is his area of expertise, is building like the U.S. version of like a mega Iron Dome to help win the nuclear war that's inevitably coming. Is like in the minds of the people behind this shit. I don't know. It's like it's almost more like puts me more at ease to just fall back into like, because like all of like people like Musk and Altman, like I said, they're grifting the grift or whatever she said. But then there's like the outside chance that like, oh no, they're actually serious about this. But I mean, again, like all this stuff is like kind of theoretical. Although I think OpenAI really does have some kind of deal with, but deal also doesn't really mean shit other than like money is going to be exchanged and rearranged, put somewhere else. Like doesn't mean that necessarily AI chatbots are going to be, holding the nuclear football. All right. Costco, labor, Whole Foods. Are you not value-tained? Is how I'll think about this next bit here.
Okay. It's a Valentine's Day.
You sent me the video. Do you want to talk about this bit? You said you had some personal Costco experience. I mean, so like what Costco?
Oh yeah.
Costco employees are trying to unionize right now, or no, not trying to unionize. Well, you remember it. Why don't you just say what happened?
Well, no. Okay, so my experience with Costco, because you had mentioned like, oh, Costco, they're known as being like a good place to work, and
they're
they
like
are.
the DSA of grocery stores.
Yeah. But the problem is that people misunderstand it and being like, oh, Costco is good and it's a good place to work, but it's like it's the union. It's a good place to work in general, but the union is what makes it a good place to work because they have to compete. But even here in California, either way, when Costco opened a new warehouse within like a couple miles of the warehouse that I worked at, they were intentionally trying to poach employees to go to the new warehouse and specifically said, if you come to the new warehouse, you'll get a $10 raise without the union. Come to the new warehouse that doesn't have a union and make $10 more an hour. So when people think like, oh, it's exciting, oh, it's such a good place to work, all that stuff about Costco, it's like, no, they're not a pro-union company. There is no such thing as a pro-union company. There's no companies that are pro-union, right?
So maybe some that are less anti-union than others, but not crossing over into pro territory.
Yeah, they all are trying. So when Costco would when they open new warehouses, even here in California, they open up new warehouses with no union, and they tell you, "We'll give you more money to come here and work without a union." And it is intentionally. It's against the law. Just without even saying anything, it's illegal, right? And that's like, was a very funny bit in the video that I sent you from RM Brown. Shout out to RM Brown, fan, not a fan of the podcast. Podcast is fan of him.
He is pretty funny, folks. Is he stand up or something?
He just like does videos, probably does stand up, whatever. Okay. But like in the thing, he was talking about like Patrick David being like, oh, I like this, it's really good. It might not be constitutional, but I think it's cool. And he's like, yeah, that's a good thing to do, is to be like, hey, this thing that's illegal, this thing that sucks, and everyone says it's against the law, I think it's good, and I like it. It's like, probably don't say that, man. Yeah.
The Law and Order, Uber alles, fucking PBD, valuetainment man is like...
I think this might be illegal, but I think it's cool. But he didn't even, RM Brown, fan of the podcast is fan of him, didn't even catch this, which is that like offering non-union workers more money than union workers is against the law. Saying we'll give you a raise to be not in the union is against the law. Saying if you want more benefits and more money, why don't you just leave the union? It's not an option. You can't just leave the union. Like, you can't just be like, I work, California is not a right to work state, blah, 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 whatever. You can't just opt out of being in the union. It's not a choice. Again, these things are against the law, but they don't care. They love to, as you say, be law and order. We think it's important to follow the rules when the rules benefit them.
Yeah.
But then when it's like the rules make it hard to do business, then they're like, daddy, please, I can't do it. I always love the way Matt Brunig, another, not fan, podcast is fan of him, style guy, where he says like, when the fucking business people are like, you can't increase the minimum wage because I won't be able to keep my business open. It's like, sounds like you're not doing a very good job. It sounds like you can't run a business. If you can't run a business where you pay your employees a living wage, you're just really bad at your job. If you can't fucking run a business and pay all of your employees a living wage and give them benefits, you probably shouldn't exist. You're kind of actually proving that you don't deserve to exist as a business. Because you're just like, I want to skim off the top of this industry, but I can't make... If you can't produce skim toppable, you need to get the fuck gone. If the employees and all this shit is too expensive for you to make the overhead, then this business shouldn't exist, and you don't deserve to exist. And Costco easily can afford it, but they're just trying to cut corners and make more money or whatever. But yeah.
I love how that's just like, that's a little too free market for my blood.
Yeah. Can we
fucking
maybe
value
exactly.
tained. I could just sit and repeat the word value tained over and over with a smile on my face. Those guys are the fucking worst, by the way. I've only been seeing... I had seen like clips here and there of Patrick Bet-David like solo or like doing like an interview with somebody, but I'd never seen his like crew until you started sending me these videos. And they're the fucking worst.
Hilarious.
They're the worst.
I hate them so much.
It is pretty funny. And that guy, RM, what is it?
Yeah, RM Brown.
RM Brown is he does a pretty funny job at
he's really good at it. Yeah.
He does a thing that I've never seen anyone do as like a YouTuber or like in any situation for that matter. He's obviously got like some big bright fucking light shining on him for the video production, but he's always like shading his he's got sunglasses on top of it, and then he like shades his eyes from this big ass light that he's pointing on his face. It's like,
it's really good.
It's a funny move.
Okay, you say you've never seen that before, but that is a Bill Hicks move.
Oh, is it? Oh, you know what? I can picture that.
Yeah,
now.
Bill Hicks used to do that. Yeah.
I never thought of it as like as a bit though. I guess it was like my mind was too blown by his prophetic, philosophizing.
Sure.
No, I like Bill Hicks. Yeah. I know I'm kind of there are annoying Bill Hicks fans, I'll put it that way.
Right. But yeah, no, that's a very Bill Hicks style thing. You have the spotlight that's too bright. You've got the sunglasses. You've got you're like hiding, you're shrinking from the light. But as you said, it becomes more threadbare when the light is clearly it's you doing it because it's a video that you're filming in your house or whatever, where it's like Bill Hicks could get away with it in like he's on stage, you know, in the comedy, but it's like it's the same vibe.
Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, there's a couple of quick hits here, basically about how the Democrats are hilariously impotent, purposeful impotence, as I wrote here. This one is hilarious, and I just forgot to mention it last week. The former leader of the DNC, what's his fucking name? All these people, why do I got to remember your names? Jamie Harrison. He said, so leader, chair of the DNC, former until recently, or recently has become former DNC chairperson Jamie Harrison said about 2 weeks ago that actually Democrats should have stuck with Joe Biden in 2024. This is
True.
I think this was the same guy who also said that John Fetterman's get the best shot at the presidency next time around and that Bernie's too woke. I'm pretty sure it's the same guy.
I mean, tell me when he's telling lies, folks. No. Because I kind of agree with that. I do think that probably Fetterman could become president before Bernie at this point.
Well, okay, almost anyone would be at this point. I don't know. That's still crazy. John Fetterman is so fucking... Does anyone like that guy? Like,
yes, a lot of people like him a lot.
Democrats still? He's a Republican now. He's just a Republican. Anyway, so this fucking Harrison motherfucker said I mean, he basically did the shit we've already talked about all these Democrats saying lately is like, actually, thanks Palestinians and Arabs and Muslims in Michigan. You fucked this up. So he did that fucking song and dance, but then he like lands on actually the smart thing to do would have been to just keep Joe in the driver's seat. Which is like the craziest thing you could say. I mean, that's crazier. It's not as evil, but it's like more stupid than trying to pin the shit on like some uncommitted voters in Michigan. I mean, are we really is this just gonna be a forever thing? Like even after Joe Biden's dead, like I still think he's the one. Like I was imagining who's gonna run for president in like 2032 the other day, and the first thing that popped into my head was the ghost of Joe Biden with running mate Ivanka Trump. That's where it's headed. It's where our crazy ass world's headed.
I love that. Yeah.
I mean, Ivanka Trump is the funnier answer, but the more realistic answer would be the ghost of Biden with running mate Liz Cheney, or get two ghosts: the ghost of Dick Cheney with the ghost of Joe Biden.
Oh. I was going to say the ghost of Dick Cheney with Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney running with the ghost of Dick Cheney as the vice president, I think would win.
You don't even have the nominal Republican lib in the Democratic race anymore. It's just two flat out two Cheneys.
Yeah.
Vote Cheney 32.
Yeah, I think people would vote for that.
I think so.
I think I might. I would. Maybe. I think they have some practical ideas.
I mean, it's the funniest thing you could say you voted for, probably.
Right.
We'll see. We'll see how whacked out America 2032 is. And then I said something earlier about how like, oh, I didn't know about that internet thing or whatever. Like, I totally missed this thing. I'm assuming you saw it. Hakeem Jeffries reciting the ABCs.
I did see this.
I missed that one completely. I finally saw it for some reason. It like came up in whatever the other day. And
well, first you got A, of course. Obviously, you start there. It's
pretty hilarious. He's just saying words that begin with each letter of the alphabet, 2 words per letter, and like one is a bad thing and one's a good thing. He's like, we don't want avocados, we want aardvarks.
Yeah.
We don't want any more Batmans. We want beluga whales. I mean, he might as well just be saying total gibberish like that. But then I looked into it a little bit more, and the motherfucking guy put a book out with this speech. It's like a picture book, basically.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I didn't even do. Maybe for another rainy day.
Sack of shit.
Another rainy day, I'll look at the reviews on Amazon for that book. I didn't even bother. I was still laughing too hard at his speech when I saw that there was a book. The Democratic bourgeoisie is fighting to take the party back from the left. Did you hear about this, folks? The Democrats had a left. Power's about to be wrested away by the moderate centrists, the benighted minority of the Democratic Party, the enlightened centrists. It's so fucking silly. I don't even have other words to add to that.
Right.
It's a ridiculous notion. But it falls in line with all this shit about how the real problem for Democrats was trans people and Muslims.
That's it.
They fucked it all up.
Don't even get me started on the trans Muslims.
Right. It's a double whammy. Also, it came out recently, very unsurprisingly, but it did come out officially that the Harris campaign ordered youth organizers to ignore voters who asked about Gaza, like when they're like door knocking, told to mark it as no response. It's like, you don't even exist. We're not going to write like terrorist lover. Just nope, nothing happened. No one was home. And let's just go out on this one. As I posted this in my beloved TrueAnon subreddit as our beloved Gerontocracy 1837, Mr. Klippenstein put a clip, of
Mr. Klippenstrelli.
Good old Norm. as he wrote here, 76-year-old Democratic Congressman John Larson suffers medical episode while speaking on the House floor, freezing for nearly a minute. And you know how I know I'm still a good person and I have empathy? I actually felt bad for this guy momentarily while watching the video clip. So I was like, that's a human being, like definitely suffering right now. Like his mouth is just like writhing. I don't know. I didn't even look into what actually was determined to have happened to him, but it seemed like he was just stroking out in some variety of blood vessels bursting in his brain. But of course I looked him up because I'd never heard of him before. And don't worry about it, folks. He is funded by AIPAC. And yeah, he's just a run-of-the-mill shitty Democrat, basically. But yeah, this is just another in a long line of people falling down, breaking hips, stroking out. It's not going to stop. It's just going to keep happening until they're all dead.
Of course not. Yeah.
And then I'm sure there'll just be like the slightly younger people now will take their place over the future because somehow these people just get reelected for their whole lives. Somehow. I wonder how that happens. It's almost like there's some sort of corruption at play.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Josh, I told you I was into conspiracy theories. But I'm not that crazy.
Yeah, I think they're probably just the best for the job.
It's got to be. I mean, I'm told we live in a meritocracy. Get your cynical gerontocracy, kleptocracy, oligarchy talk out of here.
You know, that literally brought up something I was going to force it in earlier, but you just said it. The oligarchy. People have been saying, they've been referring to it with the tech bros in control. They've been calling it a broligarchy. They've been calling them broligarchs.
Oh, boy.
But here's the thing.
That took longer than I would expect for that to happen.
I thought when I heard that, and I heard people saying it, I heard people on the Majority Report calling them broligarchs. I said, that's giving them too much credit. And I understand the Majority Report has to be, respectable, so they can't say it. So instead of calling them broligarchs, because they probably think that's cool, the tech bros, like, they're, oh yeah, I'm a broligarch, whatever. Instead of calling them that, how about we call them something that's more fitting? And what we say is that Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, all these broligarchs, let's just call them
child molesters. Let's call them,
I was going to say, we'll call them fags. How about instead of calling them broligarchs, just call them fags? We don't, we don't need a government. We don't need a country that's run by fags. Like Mark Zuckerberg, yeah.
Make bullying based again.
Exactly.
And yes, just schoolyard taunts and nothing else. I'm down with that. That's a good
way to close it out. Don't call them broligarchs, folks. Don't call them tech bros. Don't call Mark Zuckerberg a bro because he pretends like he knows about jiu-jitsu now. Don't fucking... Who's the guy with Amazon? Bezos? Don't call fucking Bezos Jeff Bezos. Don't call him a fucking broligarch. Just call him a fucking fag. Call him a fag.
That's how you resist, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Well, speaking of fags, I read a book. I recommended this writer a few episodes or something back, and I finally figured out how to pronounce his name. I have it phonetically written down here. He's a Thai-American author named Tony Tula. I can't even read it phonetically. Tony Tula. Tula Timothy.
That's it.
See, it's hard to say. Tula Timothy. Oh, it's like Timothy, basically.
Tula Timothy.
Yeah. Tony Tula Timothy.
Yeah. We're calling him Tuna Pants. Tuna Pants. He's a great author, folks.
I saw something on the Kush Vlog subreddit recommending him as something that maybe people that like Matt Christman's musings would also like. So I was like, oh, that's enough to make me click on it. And I read like maybe 2 of his short stories that were just published like online. But he's got this book out that's pretty hot in the literary world, the cool indie lit world or whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what the shit's called anymore. I don't pay I used to pay more close attention to this stuff. But anyway, I read it by way of audiobook, which means I guess I listened to it. And I liked it overall. There's one story that could definitely be cut. It's like this short experimental bullshit. But the rest of it is pretty good. I would say my favorite story is, the collection's called Rejection, by the way. My favorite story was one called Main Character. And one thing I liked about the audiobook, which, like, I know it's not just me. A lot of people just don't read as much these days anymore. It's hard to force yourself to pay attention, especially if you're reading ebooks on the same device that distracts you from everything anyway. So I just listen to audiobooks now mostly, which is basically another recommendation of mine in general. Is just if you haven't made the leap to audiobooks, it's not so bad. I used to be really, really against the idea of audiobooks, especially for shit like this, like fancified fiction, literary fiction. But it works just fine, and as long as there's like someone's voice is decent and not annoying. Yeah, they have like different, I think there's a different voice actor or whatever they're called, audiobook reader for each story, which is kind of cool because they're all narrated by like different characters. It makes sense. Anyway, Main Character is a really fun one. It's pretty funny throughout the whole thing. It's pretty dark and weird as well. There's a lot of stuff about like internet brain rot, but it's like being sort of played with in this, fiction, literary fiction style way. Apparently this guy was also like, I don't know, kind of a mid-tier famous like Twitter personality before he started publishing stuff. Maybe, I know you you use Twitter more than I do, or did, especially back in the more of its heyday than I did. You might have like seen some of it. One of his stories literally goes into like actual viral tweets. Like I looked one up to see if it was a real one, and it was like this tweet about yogurt. I was like, holy shit, that was how you got sort of Twitter famous. But yeah, it's really good. I'm actually going to refrain from really good. This is like something that kind of is keeping me at bay from like being like, wow, I'm in love with this. It's amazing. But it made me think a lot about what the fuck this guy was doing with his writing in an interesting, like, whatever, thought-provoking kind of way. And it gets extremely meta towards the end. Like the last story is like a rejection letter from a publishing company. I mean, obviously it's fictional,
sure.
But he's basically attacking the entire book that you just read.
That's pretty good.
And it just gets. It like starts folding in on itself. It gets very Kaufman-y, David Foster Wallace-y meta style shit, which I'm like, it's hard to pull that stuff off well, especially these days because it's been done a lot. But he does, I'll say, a passable version of it. But anyway, I think I talked a lot longer than I expected to about that. So pass the recommendation stick your way if you have anything.
I watched from beginning to end through completion.
You came?
Yeah. Ripley, it's a new miniseries on Netflix, 8 episodes. It's the third or fourth adaptation of the I think it's, what is it, Talented Mr. Ripley novel?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I would definitely recommend people check it out. It's on Netflix. It's black and white. It's got a lot of drama. I think you kind of know the story, right? I guess if you are familiar.
If you've seen the 90s movie, which I really like,
yeah.
I like it better than the miniseries, but I did still really like the miniseries. It's like this beautifully shot black and white. Yeah. That's the one you're talking about,
Yeah,
right?
the miniseries that I'm talking about is the one you're saying. Yeah, the one that just came out.
Yeah, so if you've seen the movie or read the original book, you know like where it's going, but
Right.
it still like does a good job of keeping you interested or whatever.
Yeah. I thought that the series was interesting because it didn't like stay the course to anything from like the previous iterations of the story.
Yeah.
It was willing to tell its own story, which I think is part of what can like make this kind of thing work, right? if there's like something that is like well-worn territory, that was like part of it too. I was like, why the fuck do they keep making adaptations of this book, right? Because it's interesting, but you could like do your own version of the same thing if you really wanted to. So then I was like, oh, maybe it's like a true story, because that's something that will make like people, you know what I mean, be like into something and reiterate it a bunch of times.
I had the same thought when I was watching the miniseries. Yeah. It's not.
It's not. So it's just like, it's this book that people really like enough to like feel the need to repeat over and over again. And like I said, the miniseries, it stays interesting because it doesn't feel the need to stick to the book or any previous films iterations of it. So it's what is it? It's 8 episodes. It's like 8 hours of watching something. It's good for what it is. It's very angsty, I'll say. It's got a lot of like drama that's like bubbling under the surface. They do a really good job of expressing it that way. So if you're like that kind of vibe, I think you'll enjoy this. If you're looking for like grandiose, over the top stuff, you're not going to get it. But yeah, that's it. I liked it. I thought it was okay.
I think it falls in like the category of like also just like because like you're saying, like it's a little sort of slower moving, like narratively. It's a very vibes hangout style. Like you just kind of enjoy the atmosphere, or at least I did when I was watching it. And it's like this moody black and white, like I said, like really well shot thing. And it's all taking place like in is it Italy? Yeah, they're in Italy. So it's like this, sunny Mediterranean setting, and like rich people playing mind games with each other, I guess you could say. That's actually kind of a poor way to describe it. Anyway, like I said, the 90s movie, I'll tack that on as a secondary recommendation. I love that movie, The Talented Mr. Ripley, with Jude Law, Matt Damon, P.S. Hoffman.
Yes.
Philip Seymour Hoffman is in it. That's a good movie. That's some solid 90s shit.
Yeah, I found it interesting too, because like the Greenleaf, the Richard Greenleaf, Dickie Greenleaf character in the series we watch here is like, he feels of the same vibe of like Matt Damon,
Hoffman,
and no, like the way that he looks.
Matt
looks
Damon
kind of
is
like Matt Damon and Jude Law, but the guy who plays Tom doesn't really fit that. But it does feel like it harkens back only in that way, where I'm just like, oh yeah, I could see like you're like the casting of him feels like it riffs off of that, but that's it. And then when you talk about like the Mediterranean setting of being in Italy, but then being in black and white, it does make it like it's sunny, but you can't really tell because it's all black and white. Like, and then the blood and the viscera is like, it just looks like inky blackness. It doesn't have that richness like that you would get from color or whatever. I think it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, the black and white does have some effect that I couldn't quite like name or whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, I think you're getting at it right there. I thought I had something else to say, but I forgot if I did.
You were gonna say I'm fucking Matt Damon. That's what you were gonna say.
Something. I don't know. Gwyneth Paltrow also, she's in it. That's not what I was gonna say, but I'm just saying shit to say it. When I liked her, now I find her kind of too annoying to enjoy on the silver screen. I don't know, all the goop stuff. I'm sorry, I know that's lame, but it just threw me off. I don't really either. But
yeah.
Any fucking way. Go to our episode description. Follow downward to the Discord link. Join the Discord. Stop in, say hi. Post some stuff. Shit post. Meme post. Thoughtful post. Madow post. That's a one I heard the other day. I don't want anyone with this fucking mad out posting. There's this annoying. Here's some stupid gossip. Annoying guy has come into the TrueAnon sub.
Oh no!
An annoying lib guy whose handle is the Orator of Liberty.
I love it. Oh man!
Everyone's like shitting on him so hard, and he admittedly uses AI to write his fucking TrueAnon subreddit posts that are just like standard boilerplate like lib takes on what Elon Musk is up to or whatever. And someone was like, "Get this fucking mad out posting off my subreddit."
That's not even mad out posting. That feels like that's got to be a libertarian guy.
The name sounds libertarian because liberty's in it, but I think they come off more as just as a liberal in their content. But yeah. Anyway, whatever I was saying, blah, 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 episode description. Tell the good people about your other podcast endeavors.
Fuck. QNTR will be back in a couple days, but by a couple days, I mean probably a day or two before this comes out. So go into the future, but back through the past. That's a good thing about my podcast life. We're going to talk about wrestling shows happening in Australia and some other stuff. Check out, obviously, violentpeople.co. That's the main thing. Go there, go to the website, buy a book, buy a mug, get into it, and enjoy it. That's it. That's my main stuff. I don't know.
What's the book?
Oh, 95 to Life. That should be there's no book, really. We should plug 95 to Life.
Yeah.
Former guest of the podcast, Alex Worldwide Keller, has a new podcast. It's 95 to Life. I haven't listened to it because I didn't know it had even started. But Josh, you've checked it out. Said it's good. I would recommend it because I know Alex Keller is hilarious. He's and thoughtful. So check it out. 95 to Life.
I really love the premise of the podcast. Yeah, I think it's fine if I say we'll probably be on it at some point. Anyway, whatever. I'm excited about that is the only reason I'm really mentioning that. Yeah, the premise is just that, as he's always said, 1995 is the single greatest year for cinema. If you look up 1995 cinema, you will be hard pressed to disagree. It's insane how packed with good shit it is. Like, I had heard theory about like 99 is like this standalone amazing year for movies, which it is, but I didn't even like do a full I didn't go through the whole fucking list. It's a lot of movies, but the ones I did, I was like kept just getting blown away. Like, damn, that's 95 too. That's 95 too. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, check that out as well. Also, in that episode description is where you can find links to all the shit we're talking about, including Tim's stuff. So you don't have to remember anything. You just got to remember to click that description. And as Kurt Vonnegut always says, those who believe in telepathy, raise my hand. Good night. Good luck. Good morning, Vietnam.
In our life is just too valuable
The first voice recording was made in 1860. It was a 10-second fragment of the French folk song Au clair de la lune recorded by inventor Edward Leon Scott de Martinville. But who will make the final voice recording and when? What will it be? Who will hear it?